Shalom. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahushua Ba'Hashem Rakakodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders who grant most on salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother, I'm Noah Allah from Gemma, Chicago, and I'm just gonna go ahead and go into a quick lesson about what's currently on the news, right? And then right now, supposedly, right, Israel and Gaza basically came into a ceasefire, that's what I heard on the news. Ceasefire, Gaza. That's what they say, but you got the hostages being released and shit from both sides. But, according to the scriptures, right, even though they signed a peace deal and all this other crap, right, no matter what, what is written in the scriptures is going to come to pass. So, yeah, there will be more escalations of, war. And then let's play this video.
Be a partner in securing a better future. We're going to be working, you're going to be working with the United States, and we're going to make sure that the Middle East is going to be a safe and secure place. It's a very important place in the world, means so much. There were so many people who said the Middle East, this has been going for many, many decades. I've read it many times that World War III will begin in the Middle East. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There was a time that you would have thought it could have, but it's not going to.
He says that World War III will begin in the Middle East, but it's not going to happen. Well, according to the scriptures, all right, it is going to happen, all right?
There won't be World War III, hopefully at all, but it's not going to start in the Middle East. We're not going to have a World War III if we're smart. Never be a World War III. Our work begins right here and right now. From ancient times, this region has been extraordinarily mixed with respect to people, culture, religions, all of the different elements of national characters, unlike maybe anywhere else on earth. And for 3,000 years, there's
Revelations 11 and 14, it says the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. According to the scriptures, all right, World War III is in the Bible, all right? And it will come to pass because, it's prophecy. And this is what we're seeing right now, right? Everything that you see here on the news, what's going on worldwide, right? All these events that are happening and occurring on this earth today, such as the wars and rumors of wars, the pestilences, the famines in diverse places, all right? The nation against nation, race wars, right? It all reveals that we're living in some perilous times. We're living at in the very latter days, all right, of Esau's wicked kingdom, all right?
Been conflict for whatever reason. There's been tremendous conflict, always conflict. But today, for the first time anyone can remember, we have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to put the old feuds and bitter hatreds behind us. And that's why so many people in this room, they didn't get along. Some did, some didn't, but they're getting along now. This has brought the people together. This is the first time the Middle East crisis has brought people together as opposed to driving them apart. And to declare that our future will not be ruled by the fights of the generations past, which is foolish. So together, let us continue in the spirit of cooperation and goodwill that has finally brought us to this incredible, historic breakthrough. If we do, together, we will reach the Middle East's incredible destiny, a safe and prosperous and beautiful crossroads of culture and commerce, faith in humanity and geographic center. This will be the geographic center of the world. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank you all for what you've done and for this quick notice. It all came together just at one little period. It just came together. The greatest deals happen that way. If you do anything about deals, that's all I've done all my life is deals. The greatest deals just sort of happen. And that's what happened right here. And maybe this is going to be the greatest deal of them all, not just nation building, not just having to do with this or the political whims. This will be maybe the greatest deal of them all, period.
Thank you for watching.
Meanwhile, you got tensions between the U.S. and China, right, in a trade war.
Whether you're a contractor or a master technician, Harbor Freight understands your job depends on export control.
According to the scriptures, right, World War III will come to pass, and in World War III, all right, before the nuclear missiles get shut off, of course, the RFID microchip needs to come to pass first, all right, and it will. All right, and then the missiles will be shot here into America.
Trade tensions between the U.S. and China are intensifying yet again ahead of President Trump's expected meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping later this month. The latest escalation follows Beijing saying it will tighten its control of the country's rare earth mineral exports. Earlier today, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent slammed the move, saying it threatens the global economy.
Make no mistake, this is China versus the world. They have put these unacceptable export controls on the entire world. China is a command and control economy, and we and our allies will neither be commanded nor controlled. They are a state economy, and we are not going to let a group of bureaucrats in Beijing try to manage the global supply chain.
Let's bring in CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi for more on this. Olivia, good to see you here. What sort of action is the administration weighing now against China in the wake of these new restrictions? And also, what kind of concerns does the White House have about what these rules will do to global trade?
Well, Nancy, it's good to be with you. It certainly signifies a flare-up in the U.S.-China trade relations, especially after there was a lot of negotiations and even a trade deal that came out of this earlier this year when we saw Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Jamieson Greer, the trade representative, meet with their Chinese counterparts in Switzerland, where this is exactly what was discussed. The U.S. said that they would lower tariffs and in exchange get more access to those rare earth minerals from China. But we did just hear from the Chinese that there is going to be new export controls going into effect on November 1st. So what does that actually mean, and who does it impact? Well, the American consumer, specifically as it relates to autos, cell phones. It impacts our defense sector as well, as they need those rare earth minerals. Also, artificial intelligence. There's a major boom happening in the U.S. developing AI centers. They need those rare earth materials, of which China has about 70% of the world's rare earth minerals. So this is very critical. We are seeing this administration push back vehemently against these new export controls, arguing that they may violate the trade deal that was struck back in Switzerland. We also heard from Secretary Bessent saying that the Chinese are just not trustworthy at this point between their negotiations with the U.S. As you mentioned, though, there is a conversation, a meeting that is expected to happen between President Trump and President Xi Jinping at the end of the month on the sidelines of that South Korean conference. That is still expected to happen, and Nancy, this is certainly going to be something that is part of that discussion.
I can imagine. And Olivia, looking ahead to this afternoon, President Trump is set to hold a press conference with FBI Director Kash Patel. What more do we know about what he's expected to announce in that?
Well, this is a rare appearance of the president and the FBI director together, not only just appearing together, but also in a press conference in the Oval Office where we'll be able to ask them questions. We don't know much about this announcement, but there's a variety of things that we are expecting to be able to ask them questions on. One being the expanded use of FBI agents for immigration control. Another being the allegations that Tom Homan, the border czar at the White House, accepted money, a bribe from FBI agents who were undercover to give them contracts in the second Trump administration. Also, just the recent investigations into John Bolton, former national security advisor under the first Trump administration. So certainly a variety of questions we have, not only for the president, but for the FBI director who's appearing with him today. Also questions about those FBI agents during the government shutdown. Are they being paid? How are they being taken care of? And how are we making sure that even though the government...
So yeah, there will be World War III according to the scriptures, right? And, the Lord's word is not being made void, right? Everything is coming to pass, right? Isaiah 55:11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. And yeah, well, everything that is written in the scriptures, alright, will come to pass. Alright. And of course, they're talking about, peace and safety. Alright, reaching that recent peace deal. Alright. Well, yeah, Esau is one that cannot be trusted, according to the scriptures. Alright. And there's many examples of where Esau is just a backstabber. Alright. It says, but 1 Thessalonians 5:1, but of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord shall come as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as shall fall upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So yeah, right now, people are in that peace and safety mindset right now. Alright? Just because, they have reached the seas deal or whatever, doesn't mean that everything is going back to normal, right? Things are going to escalate afterwards, because Esau, alright, he uses the method where he acts innocent, but he still draws swords, alright? Sirach 12:11. I'm gonna start with 10. It says, never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Exactly, never trust thy enemy. Right? And there, Esau, he is our enemy. Alright? Verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And that is what Esau is doing right now. That's what you see, they, supposedly they reached the cease deal, whatever, between Israel and Gaza. And it says, and those shall be unto him as though it has wiped a looking glass, and those shall know that his rust hath not all been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and know at thy last, remember my words, and be pricked therewith. But yeah, this is the method that Esau uses, as always. Alright, he may look innocent and all that. Alright, he may speak with smooth words, but in his heart, I'm just bringing it up. Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. So yeah, that's what Esau is doing right now. Alright? Talking about peace and all that. And meanwhile, Esau has something up his sleeves that he's about to bring out. His words were softer than oil, yet they drawn swords. And you got Esau talking about there won't be World War III over there in the Middle East. But it's going to happen. Alright? And Israel is going to be the one that's going to draw America into that war over there in the Middle East. Alright? Jeremiah 15:45. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord they hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. That's right. That is what is about to happen. Alright. The least of the flock, those those small headers. Alright. They're gonna draw America into this third world war. Alright. Alright, America is going to get involved. And America and Israel are both going to be made desolate. Alright, destroyed. Alright, by these other countries' nuclear missiles. But nonetheless, that's what's going on in the news. Alright. You saw that's what Esau is doing right now. He's making everything as if everything is all good now and shit. But they're still going to draw swords, right? That's what they usually do. But it's a good thing because it's leading up to their destruction. Anyways, hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushua, and Shalom.